careful about Nyes because there could be a team cherry picking out there. Who's to say a team doesn't offer him a boatload of money and say, you know what? In a smaller version, the Edmonton Oilers got burnt by St. Louis because they weren't proactive in two players. That happened. So who's to say a team's not going to do that? What happens if there's no Matthew Nyes and there's no Mitch Marner and there's no John Tavares and there's only Austin Matthews and Willie Nylander? I mean, those are ifs. Those are big ifs, but they're also probable ifs as well. So I think the time is now to, if you're going to make moves, you've got to make the same kind of moves that I thought years ago Doug Armstrong did a really good job of, and that is he got a Ryan O'Reilly as a 27-year-old. Yeah, he gave up a guy Tage Thompson that ended up being a really good player. He was a late draft pick. He gave up a little bit in the first round pick, and he got Braden Shen. How good has that been? I mean, that's a 26-year-old heavy player. So maybe this is the time that Brad Treliving knocks on a lot of doors and sees what he can get for a 1 for a 2 or 1 for a 3, and make a wholesale change that inevitably leads to this being his hockey club and not anybody else's. And this is the opportunity right now to make that move. And you've already signed a coach to a long-term deal. He's proven to be a terrific coach. He's proven to be a guy that loves Toronto. And I think that you've got to work with him to find out the kind of players that are going to work with him and continue to advance this team the way they did this year. Because I thought they had a heck of a year, to be quite honest with you.
They had a really good regular season. They did. I mean, they won their division, which is something that they hadn't done in 25 years. It's like it's been that long.
It's a long
won
time.
The first round, a long time. Played well against Ottawa. And, the issue, of course, is the end of the series against Florida. Yet, you look at the Panthers, Panger, and the term dynasty gets thrown out, and I feel like it's been modified a little bit over time because
not too often it gets tossed out.
No, not too often, but like a true dynasty, like you look at the Islanders in the early 90s, or early 80s, like that's a dynasty. That's 4 straight cup wins, and you go to a 5th one. The Oilers winning, I think 4 times in 5 years. You look at the Steelers back in the day, the Habs back in the day.
Would the minor day dynasty be the Blackhawks then of 10?
Yeah, exactly.
13,
I think so. I think so.
That's got to be the standard in which a team tries to get to at this particular point. Anyway, Pittsburgh for a little bit of time with 2 in a row, but not enough to get the 3rd one. Yeah.
And I'm curious what you think of Florida's chances of having that conversation not only over the next month and a half, but years beyond this. Like, could we look back in the year 2030, let's say, and look at them and say, man, they picked off like 4 Stanley Cups and went to 5 of them. Is that possible with this group?
That's very possible with this group. I mean, very possible. Now, keeping Sam Bennett is a big part of that equation. Not sure where Aaron Ekblad's going to be, but they also back that up by getting Seth Jones, who's proven to be a really good performer. Under pressure, Seth Jones, he knows how to play the game when it's under pressure, and he can skate out of traffic and what have you. Funny thing about Seth, we had him on TNT prior to game 1, and he said the first thing that the coaches said to him was, get rid of the rocking chair, Seth. Start skating again. Get going. Yeah. We want our D to get going. But I mean, looking at that, so if they lose Ekblad, if they lose Sam Bennett, I think there's still a whole lot of pieces right there that they could continue on. But the hardness and the way that Sam Bennett plays, to me, that's the engine for them. So that would be real tough if they did lose him. But let's just hypothetically say that they keep him and they lose Ekblad. My feeling is that they're going to make a lot of journeys to the Stanley Cup final. I don't think they're done just yet. They're certainly not done this year.
No, they're a deep team, and outside of last night, it was a boring, low-event game, but you had to feel at some point, law of averages, that Carolina was going to get at least 1. And they did, so we'll see what happens back in Carolina. But you slide over the other series, Panger. What do you make of the goaltender battle? I mean, you had Jake Ottinger coming in, and he had been the best goaltender in the playoffs coming into this series. And Stuart Skinner has been much maligned, Jekyll and Hyde. And now you've got Skinner that's playing well and Ottinger looking to find his game. And what do you make of that?
Yeah, really interesting, isn't it, Noodles? Because just when you think someone's got that rhythm and they're on a roll and they're just seeing the puck so well, and it can be derailed so quickly. And I've always been amazed that the greatest goalies in the world have been able to get their 2 feet back on the tracks faster than anybody else. And It's probably what made a lot of us marginal, not having the ability to get back on track very quickly. And you played with a lot of great goaltenders, and certainly I've seen a lot of great goaltenders myself. And Jake Ottinger, to me, has that Control-Alt-Delete button that's really impressive. He forgets, and that's great. The one thing that he does, and I actually talked to him about this in the previous series, was when he gets sliding, that's a reminder for him and Jeff Reese to get back on their game. Over sliding, pushing, sliding, pushing, sliding. And basically in our conversation, was it a matter of just taking things for granted? Was it a matter of fatigue because you're not using your edges? And he thought it was a combination of everything. And sometimes it's just a reminder to stay on your blades a little bit longer and stay on your edges. So I'm sure there'll be corrections, because I'm really impressed with Jake Ottinger and how quickly he can correct things. With Stuart Skinner right now, I mean, this is amazing. Amazing that he won a game and didn't get a shutout in the last one.
Can they win a cup
shutouts.
with him, Darren?
Well,
Can they win
almost
the
did last
Stanley
year.
Cup with
You know what?
Stuart?
Oh, dog, I'm convinced that the Edmonton Oilers don't give a hoot what's back there. I swear to it. I've never seen a team so resilient. And I don't know how they do it. I mean, Calvin Pickard, who doesn't love Calvin Pickard? The guy is a gem of a guy. I can see how he endears himself to his teammates so well. Everybody loves the guy. I mean, technically, Noodles, we're not going to stick him into a goalie school and say, okay, here's how you're going to do it. But what you are going to do is you're going to say, here's how you take a character, you take a player that knows how to win over his teammates, and then, by the way, you throw in some gumption and some battle and survival mode, and he can somehow win his teammates over and make some saves. Are they going to win with Calvin Pickard? I don't know. They might have to. They might have to go back to him again. But I believe, basically, O'Doug, to answer your question, yes, I do believe they can win with Stuart Skinner. I believe they can do so because of what they did last year, being down 3-0, how he played earlier, how Calvin had to come in. They've done it again this year. I don't think they care. They don't give a rat's rear end. As long as that puck stays out of the net and you don't give up that slimy, greasy, momentum-sapping goal against, that they somehow find a way to battle back despite what's in the net. It's pretty remarkable to me. So yes, my answer is yes, O'Doug.
Well, we were talking about it earlier this afternoon. Yeah.
That's what you get paid the big bucks for, Darren.
I
like
think you
it.
nailed it. I think you nailed it. And like, Pickard has not lost a game, and he's available tonight, and he's not playing. Like, when has that ever happened? 6-0, and they're like, nah. And obviously you're not going to play him. Of course you're going to continue with Skinner. He's playing so well right now.
Ride Seabiscuit while Seabiscuit's kind of cooking here a little bit.
Yep.
And then if Seabiscuit has a little wound, then off to the side we go, and let's move the next guy in. And they don't seem to be bothered by it all. They just need one or two really good saves early in a hockey game, and they're off and running.
That seems to be the way it works. Darren Pang with us. Mikko Rantanen was so good early in these playoffs, and everything he touched went in the net, and now all of a sudden he's really cooled off. He's on a bit of a cooler. Their offense has been on a bit of a cooler. Is he the guy that you're looking at on the Dallas side of things? Like, Rantanen's got to get chugging again for this engine in Dallas to really rev back up?
You know who I'd like to really add some